because we've got victory. This is good.
Yeah, totally.
I
I
mean,
saw, so I saw the Zillow post, but yeah, why don't you fill me in?
yeah. So the apprenticeship uh, official application is out. House is up for sale. There's people looking at it. In fact, there was one person that jumped on it right away, saying, "Yeah, I wanted it badly." That completely fell through because the person didn't follow up. But interesting. But no, I mean it's we're confident it's going to sell. So I mean the feedback is positive from some of the people locally. Um, we're ready to roll on apprenticeship. So looking at a pretty aggressive schedule in terms of July 15, trying to invite, hire, recruit 24 candidates for the full thing. I'm not going to start with less than 24 because that's part of the promise. You're learning rapidly as part of a crew and part of a team building experience. So that in my view is quite important. And if we have to push it back, we will. But right now we're on track. We actually got a sponsorship already for one or two people from Canada. So what part of the offer was, well, in your own community, bring it to your hometown, train a young person in your own community. Had a great discussion with the founder entrepreneur yesterday. That's going. He's helping us advertise, and this is Victoria. So it's going along quite well. I'm excited about. So what I'm going to do right now is blast on LinkedIn. Basically, kind of on one side is the hard sell. Okay, here's an immersive 4-year experience, and 4 years because unlike the last attempt at 6 months, I mean the skill set is just too broad and the kind of the mindset too. I mean the whole thing. If you're in it because of fire under your pants, as in you're gonna do this for a living, like for real, like this is your college education and lifelong learning opportunity, that makes a different story. So I think that part is quite important. Um, but right now, the kind of message is hiring change agents to rebuild civilization. Apply today. I'm going to say in the program, after you complete it, 72K starting. If you take the leadership track, we'll guarantee 95K. And this is based on the numbers I've observed. We've got complete build data on the Maysville build, absolute thorough documentation, more pictures than Google can handle. I set up an album, it quit me at 20,000. I had about
Really?
22,000 pictures total. About 1,000 pages of documentation, exhaustive CAD and build instructions and bill of materials down to the penny. So you're not going to find anything more detailed or complete than this. And actually, I'm excited about this. Now, the thing is, the main thing is supply of housing. Stupid. There's not, there's huge blocks legally and otherwise for why housing is not accessible. First thing being the mindset issue that people treat housing as an investment, not as a place to live. That's part of it that drives some of the economics behind it, but the situation's not great. That's what we aim to fix it. One aspect where we're definitely excited about the nonprofit level build. So on the open market, the price is regular. In this market, we put it up at 250K, 3-bed, 2-bath garage, including the 6 kilowatt full PV panels on the roof. Nice design inside, well finished. Just real good attention to detail and quality. But then, how do you make it more accessible? 60K in materials. You've got the full plans. 120K. We'll give you a subsidized build like Habitat, including some sweat equity. You can get the market rate price. The other thing is we're looking at, I think that's quite exciting, is build the core module, and in a 2-month summer program, you build your own module to take home. You build the hardest part, meaning the core utilities, kitchen, bath, and you ship that home. You load that up on a trailer, 6,000 pounds, and you can add readily because you've learned the techniques over the 2 months of supported I call it the financial independence package because the house is the most single highest cost in your life. In 2 months, you can largely kill that off, buy your own land, you have a foundation you can do a simple foundation. You don't have to go overboard, and if you don't want to hire people, there's different routes to go with earth anchors, such as helical pile and other things. But you put this thing, and so you have the core functionality, bathroom, kitchen. You can add space, which is just framing, largely onto that. So you've got the hardest part that's built, and you can readily build additions as a result of this 2-month program. So I'm excited about that. I mean, we don't have that yet. We're going to have to first the apprenticeship. We're starting that up, but I expect the financial independence package to come out next summer, not this summer, next summer, and it will be part of the entrepreneurship development experience that the students get. So yeah, the full thing. You're coming here to kick ass, to learn about all the systems of civilization. And the education of the program, it's 2 days of actual build. That's your work study. And then in 3 days, you're in school. It's like about 9 credit hours or so. And in it, 1 day is about, I call it Architectures 101, but it's really about how to design anything, including technosphere and its institutions. It's big. This is big stuff. We'll spend dedicated time understanding the patterns of the pattern language of what makes up society and stuff. Now, 2 more days. Learning how to learn is another day. So there's a whole field that I wish I learned in college, right? And then the last thing, which you're definitely not getting in college, is learning, maybe at West Point you do, learning how to be a human. Leadership. What is moral intelligence, drive, people, all of this, the soft skills, negotiation, never to split the difference. We're hitting it hard. So that's the program, and the offer is you're not learning to be a builder, you're learning to be a human. Then you can be an effective member of civilization and a steward. So yeah, that's where we're at. We're starting up this program, and right now recruiting for it. Now I definitely want to get back into the flow. How do we get GI Bill sponsored activity into this? Let's get the vets in here and continue the discussion left off. What are your thoughts?
Okay. Yeah, before I go any further, I've got a kid who just peed her pants. Give me 1 second to get some help. I'll be right back.
I got so excited, I almost peed my pants too. All right, a little break. Yeah.
All right. So, oh man, so much to catch up on. So first, congratulations. Do you have a sense for how long this thing is going to be on market? Like, you said that people are interested, but is anybody putting in offers?
Market for 2 more weeks before it sells.
Okay.
Before
Yeah.
we get an offer.
That's awesome.
When the first lady got excited, I didn't even put up a for sale sign because I thought we had it right there, and she had
Yeah.
approved credit. I actually don't know what happened. We'll see. But I didn't even know. These things sell so fast, you don't even have time to put up a for sale sign. But no, actually, I will go out there and actually put up a for sale sign because we don't even have one on it. Okay.
Are you doing the whole sell side on yourself, or do you have an agent?
No agent. Part of it is to keep costs down.
Yeah.
There's a new law that was passed last year that says that the buyer pays for the buyer's agent and the seller pays for the seller's agent. Before it was different, right? Seller pays for everything. So that's another detail. However, in practice, it turns out, just as an insight, that now the buyer's agents say, oh, just put this load on the seller because they want to sell to you. So in practice, nothing changed. But no, we don't have a seller's agent. for the purpose of we like to do our keep costs down for one. It was quite effective to get an MLS listing through. We used a service called HomeCoin.com.
Mm.
Excellent. I mean, it blasts it to all the MLS lists, including some FISBO sites. So yeah, this is great. I mean, we certainly don't need it. Mm, I don't think we need it. We did some good research on terms of pricing it. Really went exhaustive on that. So 250K is correct. It's actually I came up with a figure of 253 by comps. We put it at 250. Yeah, just a little lower to
Wow.
a little lower so we can faster sell. And 250 actually here's a trick for real estate people. If you put 250, that gets people looking for the 150 to 250 bracket and 250 to 350 bracket, so you get more views. Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, there's a lot of art in addition to the science there. Yeah. So for the apprenticeship, do you have a curriculum on paper already?
No, I mean we have the same thing from before. I mean we drew up quite a bit of material from before, as far as new curriculum for the program. What I do have is what is called a 1,000-hour curriculum. We were calling it the 1,000-hour curriculum, but I do have individual lessons scoped out already in major topics. So there's like probably about 300 classes or topics that are outlined. Now, it's not going to be like a linear process. It's going to be what I call multi-level learning, where if you have, for example, shop skills class, like you create a topic that's quite general, but in it you're teaching at multiple levels, so such that the entry level guy can understand even the most advanced lessons because of the way you present it, and then even the most advanced guy, he will find meaning in the low end level lessons because they're not dumbed down. So when we cover one topic, we also cover it for example, at the basic level. Here's how to use basic power tools. But in the advanced version of that, we'll have that same course, which, for example, in the basic lesson, we'll say, oh yeah, and this is how you mill jet engines. And then in an advanced version of that, we can actually go into more details about diving right into, okay, this is how you mill a jet engine blade, based on the fact that, oh, you actually know the basics already, so we can talk at a different level, but not in an expertist way, in a way that the novice can still understand. So just really innovating on everything. But the approach is multi-level learning and focusing on the question being, what are the 1,000 skills that any responsible citizen should know? And that's kind of how we approach it in terms of if you wanted to actually rebuild civilization.
Right. So, like, what do you envision? Well, how can I help exactly? Because like I can tell you right now, what you've told me so far, you're like there's no you don't have an application for GI Bill. Like the process that they're gonna follow they don't care about multi-level learning. It's going to be about box checks to get GI Bill eligible. So we're going to ask things like, okay, how much are you paying all that stuff. So how exactly can I help?
Oh, well, okay. So we've gone through all of the process design last time, right?
Yeah.
We have what was called I think it was called Micro House Builder. We have a work process for Micro House Builder. Can we use that and just push it through again? We've got I mean, it's got the boxes checked. Now the question is like, okay, what exactly do they need for? Okay, here's the facility and stuff like that. I mean, we have the workshop and we're building another edition of another 6,000 square feet. So I mean, we've got basic infrastructure. I mean, I'm kind of unclear. Like, okay, we want to get this published, this say on the Department of Labor site or whatever. What other boxes do we need to check? Because we know we have to have that part already. Like you did the work process. I mean, there's a lot of work that's already involved, including the actual curriculum. I mean, we wrote that all down. And I can teach that. That will be part of all the materials that's easy. That part is easy. I mean, I either have lessons from former STEAM camps, or I can present. I can present on the fly pretty well as well. I mean, kind of live this. So So I think I could be effective if we present that. Okay, here's the outline of the curriculum. I'll entertain, and what we will do is we'll also get, say you want to learn about how do you build trailers for microhomes or for transportation. Get a person to do that, and so my role is to have the curriculum and then attach more people to more for the shop part. Like for example, for the trailers, it wouldn't be someone talking about how to build trailers. It would be you in a shop with that guy. You are building a trailer, things like that, with an
Right.
expert who can do that kind of stuff. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
How many instructors do you have?
Zero. No, I mean we
Yeah.
don't really have any instructors that we have committed. I've talked to a number, so we can readily pull dozens of people. So
Yeah. Yeah.
people
Okay.
who have um, helped in the past, and this is actually an amazing opportunity for basically say, okay, give us a 1 hour module to say build this RTK GPS unit for remote control. 5,000 bucks. Just throw a little budget, have a person do something that's a person who has done it, right? So that kind of that's going to be our approach to getting additional curriculum. Hands-on. This is like, okay, here's how you actually do this thing. Yeah. If you
Yeah.
want
I mean,
a list of instructors, I can come up with that and simply confirm with the individuals. That's not too big a deal.
yeah. Okay. And then your goal is still to classify this as a on the job training
On the job training, yeah.
experience or like
And I think
okay.
the micro. Do you recall the name? Was it Micro House? Was it called Micro House Builder? It was
It might have been a micro house, but
Tiny Home Builder. That's
I,
an actual recognized thing in a DOL.
yeah, yeah. Well, it used to be. I mean, things could have changed. Let's assume that it is.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so then you're able to cover then the wages for all 24 for the entire 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so there's different programs. Okay, so let's get into the details of how this rolls out. The base package is here's a tech school like extreme experience, mixing college and tech school. You're paying tuition. You also have work study. In a work study, you'll be making between 13 and about 13 and 30K option per year. There's 2 days of work study that everyone takes. If you competency out of that, that will be enough to cover 15,000. You have the option to work in the summer. So the program is designed, even at the entry level with minimum wage of 14, you will still pay your way. That's how it's designed. That's the formal route. But I'm actually now that I'm gonna do there's the formal route, which is the core program is the 2-day work study. I want to frame it also as we're hiring civilization builders, and that's a little different program. I'm keeping some education, but that consists of 4 days of work and 1 day of study, and it's more like we're hiring you, but we're not forgetting about continuing education. So they still will be learning, basically getting 3 credits, actually 6. Option to take up to 6 credits. So the main program is like equivalent of 9 credits. There's the leadership track where you take more classes for more like 12 credits, and then there's the 6 credit, 3 to 6 on the. We're pretty much hiring. It's kind of like hiring apprentices. Not pushing the here's the save the world thing. This is a good job and a very interesting experience. So that's the way we're looking at it. Does that kind of explain it? Explain some of the finances? Because the bottom line is, yes, we'd like to get 24 people, and I'd be open to some of those could be the full work. Probably what I envision is probably like 12 people in a formal apprenticeship program, the kind of save the world stuff, and maybe like 12 that are more 12, like 6 and 6, 6 builders, built more builder track, and 6 like leadership track. So that's kind of what I envision. But some of them we're paying more than um, uh, we're paying way more than they're paying us. Now, of course, because we have just the insight of this, we're building real homes as we do this. This is no joke. So the economics, when you look at the numbers, are actually bootstrapping. So yet the answer is in short, yes, 24 people we're paying.
Got it. Okay. Well, the Department of Labor is not going to like the approval authorities on the VA side who handle the GI Bill and the Department of Labor who handle the curriculum side. They're not going to care about like your differences in how you classify people. What they're going to ask really simply like, is your curriculum sufficient? Which let's say check. We're using the tiny home builder one. They're going to ask you. Are you paying for at least, I think it's 30 hours a week?
Yep. And
Well,
20 hours of additional instruction. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So you have that, check. And then who knows? Like they may ask you, okay, like we want to come see your facility. What's the instructor to student ratio? I'm trying to think back of like the other stuff. So, and the person, you might be ready to talk to Jeremy, and you can ask him, what the standard is and how to meet it. I don't think you're going to get approved until you have more instructors and until you have the facility where they're going to live.
Initially, it's not live on site actually, so it'll be off site.
Okay.
Simpler.
Where are the 24 people going to live then?
No, it's off site. So we're offering an option like if I feel you kind of we want to get to know the people. We're saying 6 months. You can build your own house. It's part of. We're creating basically like a half an acre place for all kinds of experimental builds, including build your own micro house village. So, but that's at the 6 month. I want people to be able to do stuff and know how to design stuff before we allow that option, because they're going to be highly engaged in that kind of process, and we can't let them build just any crap. So it's kind of like we were very loose on it. Just build anything right here. Kind of thing before, but we'll simply be stricter. If you want to build a new civilization, you have to be responsible for how to do it. You have to know some design and have fundamentals of design build skills to do that. But short of it, 6 months you can start thinking of moving on site. That's going to be an option, but just assume you're living off site for now. Then we'll see how it evolves and how quickly people learn. Are people ready for this? If they're ready in 3 months, I'll get them on site in 3 months.
So if I sign up as an apprentice, I'll find my own place to live that's close enough that I can. Okay.
Yeah. However, we can entertain the idea of people who, because we're going to have alpha, we call it alpha experimental pad. We'll have that, and it's going to have basic facility, so it's electrical and water sewer. So if they want to pull up in a camper. We can allow that. I mean, we'll go. I mean, if somebody really needs to do that, we're open to that. But just typically, just think you're going to rent a house in town.
Got it. Okay. So, I mean, at the end of the day, the only barriers I encountered applying for other companies was the pay scale, like guaranteeing full-time pay,
Sure. Not a problem.
the instructor-to-student ratio. The curriculum was usually a challenge, although if you're recycling one that's already used, it's not that big a deal. So there may be additional standards, but yeah, I mean, Jeremy would be the subject matter expert if he's even still working for the DOL.
He hasn't responded, so I don't know.
Yeah, that was my next question. Yeah.
No, he hasn't responded. The student-teacher ratio is so everybody would swarm on the 2 days. So there's 24 people. The student-instructor ratio is going to be like 1 to 12. On the days of where the students are doing more shop work than class work, we would have a person there that's supervising that. So I think we can easily address the ratios. And even if I'm supervising directly or indirectly. There could be lab time. I mean, my day, I'm going to be teaching. I'm going to be doing a lot of time teaching and curriculum development and performance development, getting more to like performance psychology and education pedagogical sides. People are going to be doing the heavy lifting and the work. I envision myself being in like until this program is stable, I'll be doing both. I'll be doing here's the class time. There's 3 hours of class per day, up to 4 hours of actual class per day. And some of that might be more lab time, where you're in the rapid learning facility, like actually building things too, like putting things together from construction sets. But beyond that, beyond those 3 hours, there could easily be, I could envision for myself like a 6 hour, 8 hour scheduled teaching each day, where 3 would be like for the builder track. Yeah, if I'm supervising and teaching, that's for me. I can do that relatively easily. And then the weekends are fully off, so we're not doing stuff. We recuperate Saturday, Sunday, and it's a 5-day week. Keep it all to the week.
Yeah, I wouldn't mention. I'm trying to think of how to say this. I mean, I'm not sure I completely understand it, but if some people are paying tuition and other people who are on a different track are getting paid, I wouldn't bring that up when you apply, because essentially what you're saying is that like the student next to me is going to be subsidizing my tuition.
Sorry, who's
If I'm
run that logic again?
Well, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like what you're saying is some apprentices or like some tracks will be paying you tuition, right?
Yes.
Is that okay? And then other people that are a part of that same class will be getting paid if they're GI Bill apprentices, right?
GI Bill, you're getting paid. There's no in it. There's not the option, like in that program itself, there's not the fact that you're paying tuition. Now, if they want to actually take some of the courses that people are taking, they can sign up too. We'll charge them. Now,
okay.
But here's the underlying thing. The thing that the engine of this is the fact that we're building, and we have a well-proven revenue model of housing. So that's the key. I think I can explain that. Here's the number of hours it takes us to build a house. Here's our costs, and here's how much runway we have. And those numbers are good.
No, that's cool. But like the DOL is going to be a stickler for terminology. So if you say apprentice, yeah, I would just if you say apprentice, they're going to think full-time employee who does a little bit of classroom work extra, that's receiving a hourly wage from you,
sure,
plus the GI Bill. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's based on how you're prepping me here, it's no, I'm not going to get into the confusion. The thing is very simple, kind of like what we talked. Here's your hourly pay. Here's what you're expected to make when you graduate. Here's how many work hours you got, and you've got some extra instruction.
Yeah.
You're working.
Yeah.
You know.
Cool. I mean, yeah, I am no longer the subject matter expert, especially when it comes to state level DOL stuff. So if you can get a hold of Jeremy, that would be ideal.
Yeah. Do you know anybody else besides that? Do you have any other contacts who are out? So Jeremy was he like the only guy in the state that has that capacity, or when you were looking at that before, were there other offices or? You remember?
Every state has its own Department of Labor. They divide up the state and they assign each region a education training something.
Yeah.
Who oversees all of the registered apprenticeships in that area, and I think education stuff. And so Jeremy covered your area, and it's an open question of whether or not he still assigns that area. But at this point, it wouldn't hurt, because like nothing that we did 2+ years ago is going to matter to them. They're gonna make you. No, they're gonna.
Well, I mean, we can take the same stuff and resubmit
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. They're gonna make you resubmit
Yeah,
everything.
of
So
course.
you should probably just go to the Missouri DOL website and start from scratch. Honestly,
Oh yeah.
that's the best guarantee. Because if he hasn't responded to you by now, he probably forgot about you. To be honest
Okay.
with you, yeah.
Okay. I can check. I can give him a quick follow up and see what you got there. Um, do you what are you doing these days yourself? Are you working?
Yeah, I work for a company called Onward Ops, and so it is Onward Ops. I'll put the URL in chat.
Onward,
So
onward ops. Is that
we're
right?
doing we're doing like higher level transition assistance nationwide. So a lot of the same stuff that I was doing, back when I was working with you, just scaled up to a national level. Um, like technically speaking, day to day, what I do is I manage software developers and I design employment programs and just trying to keep the wheels on the car from falling off. Because like we're a small organization, um, we're going funding to funding, or like funding opportunity to funding opportunity, trying to make it to the next quarter. But we're doing a lot of good. It's getting a lot of attention. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. I moved to Virginia with my wife and kids. Yeah. So yeah, those are the big things. I would ask him how you've been doing, but I already know because I've seen the updates.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, sponsors. Tell me more about sponsors for Onward Ops.
Yeah, anybody. It's you sign up, you do 90 minutes roughly of online training. You go to an orientation session. We give you some Google credentials to a workspace account, and when a service member comes to your area, we assign them to you, and you can accept or decline. But if you accept, then you're connected, and the goal is really just to help them get settled in the community that you're in. It's supposed to be like a human connection before your separation date.
This is just. This is not a job. This is not sponsoring like some form of education or like employment.
No, 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 no. Mentor. Think
Mentor.
mentor.
Okay, that's mentors. Okay. Do you have things where it's you also engage in employment opportunities? Can you tell me more about that aspect? Are there collaboration opportunities there? Potential things that I can, in my communications, I can say, okay, veterans, this is, promote that, or see how we can collaborate on that. I mean, in terms of actual hires, I mean, people who do you think any of your people so far that you run into would be interested in either like because while we have maybe one thing I failed to mention is that the DOL apprenticeship, whether we get it or not, the package of the 4-day work study thing, basically full time, that's still going. Does not require DOL. DOL will help the economics. It just cross subsidizes more, so we have more leeway. Maybe we convert that to whatever higher pay or whatever. But we can also do that. We are doing that without it in the form of the builder track, which is 4 days of work and 1 day of study. So that kind of opportunity. Yeah. Any of your candidates, are they interested in any of your people? Is that something to push forth to them? You're getting paid. This is an interesting job opportunity. So maybe I can pass forward the. I'll blast that on. I was planning on doing that on LinkedIn today. I can forward you some of that, but I mean, I think that some of your candidates might be quite interested in this.
Yeah, we enroll 1,000 plus service members a month from mostly Army, but all over. Their profiles are about 130 data points. I would say like a third of that is related to employment needs. Um, And right now we're matching jobs with service members using Gemini. Um, they would have, so essentially it's not out yet in our production environment, but essentially when they enroll and they log into their dashboard, they would see, Marcin, here's a list of all the jobs that you're matched with. We know where you're going. We know what your rank is. We know what you did in the military. Here's a list of all the jobs in that area that meet your criteria.
Mm-hmm.
And so once we're at a point where we are accepting employers to submit jobs, then, you could post that, and then it would just automatically get matched with people headed to Maysville or to Missouri generally, or people who are undecided but just expressing an interest in skilled trade stuff. Yeah.
When's that getting released?
Beta will be out in June.
Okay. You want me to submit us in June or after that?
Well, you'll know, just check in. You'll know. It'll just be a website. You go to it, you sign up,
Okay.
just like it would be for like Indeed or LinkedIn, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any other things? I ran into a bunch of different people also through who was the person in Kansas City here with the vets contacts. Any other contacts from before that you remember? Because I know several people were interested in the job opportunities, but we didn't have it at that time. I want to reach back out to. I can go through my emails again, but anything that stands out in your memory, or that was like, oh yeah, we got to follow up on.
Well, yeah, there's no new contacts. I mean, my understanding of where we left things was out to work for OSC was, it just wasn't a safe bet. Like if you needed the income, you still there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Are you still there?
I'm there. Yeah.
Okay. The connection broke up. Bottom line is it just wasn't a safe bet. Like if you needed work and you weren't from Maysville, then to come work, like if you were to post a job for a tiny home builder or whatever, and say, it's $20 an hour, scaling up to $40 an hour, and you're going to be working here, but you're not from Maysville, it was pretty unlikely you were going to be able to move yourself and or your family to Maysville, find a place to live, and then, start working. Because you don't have a staff, you didn't have much infrastructure outside of the Hab Lab, and as a singleton reading that job description, they would have shown up and be like, okay, what are we doing? And be like, well, we're going to build a house. Like, where is everybody else? How are we going to do this by ourselves? So I think there was a little bit of cultural difference, shock, that kind of, yeah. So in other words, when we kind of stopped communicating basically, and you were working on the home after the last sprint, or I forgot what it was called. What do we call that? The extreme build. Yeah. So after the extreme build experience, none of the contacts that we were working with, like that guy in Kansas City, Jason, I forgot his name. There was nothing really to follow up on, because you didn't have the infrastructure to support apprentices at that time. And I don't know, maybe if the Department of Labor approves you as an apprenticeship and you're able to get more people on, and they go into the situation knowing they have to find their own place to live while they're there, and the income is guaranteed, then yeah, it's probably worth reaching out to if they're still working there.
Well, I'm kind of missing something. Well, why not? Okay, so you're going to move out anywhere. The bottom line is there money to pay you? That's the bottom line, right? Do you have a job? So if we can provide that, I'm not sure why they would say no.
Well, because Maysville's in the middle of nowhere, and if you're not from Maysville, or if you don't have an otherwise good reason to move there, it's a high opportunity cost to move to Maysville versus someplace you either know better or have an established network in, or has more job opportunities. Frankly, yeah.
So just the remoteness of our location. Yeah.
It's not impossible. It's just it complicates the decision if you're specifically if you're a young service member who doesn't know anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a young vet who's transitioning out, you've never had a civilian job. Like it's one thing to be excited about an opportunity, and another thing to like actually make it work when you got to pack all your stuff in your car and go to a town you've never been to.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, if there's one thing I've learned working in this space, it's that you can have all of the incentives right in terms of job opportunity, career potential, guaranteed income, aligns with interests, and service members specifically will still not proactively pursue it. You got to kind of like hijack their decision-making sequence a little bit higher because like, again, there's a lot of uncertainty when they transition out of the military. So like you can do everything right and still not get any interest.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll work with that. Yeah. So I mean, I'll reach back out to Jeremy and see if he's still around or not, and see where we go. Yeah. And I can follow up with
I would be
former contacts as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know what are you trying to get? How do you think they're going to help you?
So the program is just an opportunity on paper, and like people are looking into the future. It's a real job. We are with the 24-person apprenticeship. After that, we're accepting on a rolling basis. So if somebody comes and is fit, bring them on. It's just marketing.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
I mean,
Just getting
plus the fact that there's economic incentive, there's subsidization through the GI Bill revenue, that's money that's available for helping vets do that.
Yeah. Oh, got it. Getting word out. Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't rhetorical. I was actually just curious. Yeah, and I would if Jeremy responds, I would still start the process from scratch.
Sure.
With the Department of Labor in Missouri. Just because, like, it may have changed. There may be somebody else covering your area or who handles these types of applications. Yeah.
I think he can, if he responds, he'll have insight on that, right?
Sorry, what?
No, if he responds, he would have insight on that. Otherwise, I'm starting from scratch. Not from scratch, but refiling, pretty much.
Yeah, he's going to make you refile anyways, because if it involves him having to go digging for papers from 2 years ago, he's going to tell you to just refile.
Okay.
Yeah. Assuming he's still at the job.
Mm-hmm. And also in terms of just our image or our publicity, it's like, okay, we've got this program for visionaries, we've got this program for vets, etc. It's part of the bigger picture. Also, getting into I do actually see a lot of opportunity in the swarm build habitat style model. In fact, it could be a killer if executed, because in that package, you're getting land donated, you get sweat equity significant from the actual owners, you get sweat equity from the community. A lot of times materials are covered by donations, so that's actually with our model. It's a great opportunity, so we're going to actually pursue that. The guy from town who actually worked as a construction manager for Habitat, another builder here, he told me about how that works. It's like, holy cow, this is gold. Let's do it, and then we can take. But you remember the 2,000 empty lots in Kansas City? Well, the caveat there is you're going to run into a lot of bureaucracy. Like, for example, he was talking to me about, if a house was on there already, the requirements for redoing, basically for stabilizing the soil again and foundations, is just ridiculous. It has nothing to do with actual engineering. It's basically cover your ass red tape. So they make you do like he gave me an example, foundation that we can do for, like, in our methods we can execute a foundation like that, say for like $3K. It ended up costing this one project was $75K. It's like crazy shit like that. So there are real issues, like, when I look at those 2,000 free houses, 2,000 free lots in Kansas City, They may not be so free, but we just go where people want us and where we're able to operate effectively. So anyway.
Okay, awesome. How? Yeah, I'm gonna. I have my kids are screaming.
Yeah.
I should probably.
We can call
Yep.
it here. Yeah. Thanks for your time and the insights. Just for seeing where you are on things and all that. Glad to reconnect. And you made this happen 2 years ago too. So
Yeah.
this is good. It's to be proud of as far as how the house came out. I think it finished out better than we expected. It looks really nice, and really nice curb appeal according to feedback from town. So it's good.
Yeah, there's a lot of follow-up questions I have, but mainly just like I'm just very well. No, I mean I gotta go, but I'm just very happy for you, and I just want to reiterate how great it looks, and please give my best to Katarina. I hope she's good.
Will do. All right,
All right.
John. Well, thanks, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
Okay.
All right, take care.